So I thought I'd pop on and show you what I'm up to. So I'm making a Guinness ball. So these balls are in Guinness cans. And I was like, you know, they're perfect sort of necklace size. So I found this scarf and I just wanted to show you before, so if you want to make one. So what I've done is I chopped the scarf up and I chopped it so that it was 6 inches. So can you see I folded it in half? So that's 3, look. So the length was 6. And I've sewn 2. So there, look, can you see I've sewn along there? And then I ironed that little bit there. And then I got a safety pin and I'm threading it. Where is it? I'm threading it through now. So that there's the little safety pin there. So I'm nearly at the end now. So, yeah. But what I also wanted to say was, before I became a mum, I was so creative. And another thing, I was really creative. I used to sew and paint and draw, as I do now. And also I used to manifest as well. I was a great manifester. And then when Ryan and Connor came along and I became a mum, I stopped doing all of that. And I wonder, I've been thinking about this. I think, you sort of, as a mum, go into this sort of fear state, this sort of panic mode, like for your kids, like, oh my God, am I doing this? Should I be, feeding them this and should I be feeding them that and, and all of these things. And, and I've got to get the dinner ready and I've got to tidy the house. And your whole life revolves around them. And then all of a sudden you realise, so look, I've just pulled the safety pin out now. So I'm just sort of pulling it out now. So there it is. So I'm just going to sort of pull all of this out. But yeah, for years, all I was doing was like, right, there's lists, isn't there? Going through your head, like, right, I've got to cook the dinner, I've got to paint the front room, I've got to take him to football, I've got to go and see so-and-so, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And you're so preoccupied with what you're doing for other people that I think it's as if your brain hasn't got the capacity to do lots of things. And so when Ryan and Connor left home, all of those lists went. Oh, thank the Lord. And so my brain became empty. And it's sort of like, wow, what do I want to fill it with? And, it's a really new, exciting sort of venture that you can sort of undertake, really. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, these wonderful things, it's sort of like you're reliving your childhood. It's sort of like, yeah, I wanted to write a little fairy story book when I was a little girl. I'm going to do that now because I've got time and my brain is free of crap. It's just nice and empty and I can sit in the garden and I can think about my little fairy story and I can think about, what I want to do creatively and with my art and, the music I listen to. I just want to show you this. So I'm listening to this. I mean, it's so beautiful. I'll just turn it up. And, sort of like this composer, where did that come from within him? It is so angelic and beautiful. I listen to it over and over again, this concerto. It's so beautiful. But I didn't have time to listen to this. It profoundly hits your soul. And, I mean, it might not resonate with you, but it resonates with me. And, this composer, where did it come from within him? This beautiful amazing music. It's just fabulous, isn't it? But I believe that we've all got that within us. You know, we all have that within us, and it's just nurturing. And so once your kids have, you know, buggered off, you know, we've got time, you know, maybe to write a concerto, write music, write love songs, write poetry, write a novel, write a book. You know, as you know, when we were younger, we were always told, you know, oh no, you know, that's not for you, you know, you can never do that. That's not what, you can't do that, you know. What a load of rubbish, you know, with social media nowadays. You know, there are so many, and all of these young kids, you know, just being on social media, writing songs, you know, people writing poetry, and it's just amazing. And so, you know, at our age, you know, if we're a bit older, you know, we've got to still have that faith and belief in ourselves that we can do that as well. So there we are. Look, so if I just stand back, look, it's like a magic trick. Look at this. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! There, look at that. Beautiful colours. So the reason I did that was because I want to sort of make a necklace to go with that. There, look. So so now I am going to sit. I'll take this little safety pin out now. Whoop! Go with my foot. So I'm just going to sort of pop him in there. And I'm going to put him down a bit because I suppose I thought I want to, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but so there he is. And so you knot it. And then, look at that. And then knot. I'm going to have to thread all of that through. Maybe I'm doing this back to front. I'm sure somebody will say, Sam, you should have done it like this. So let's have a little look. There, look at that. So then I'm just going to put all of the little balls in, and yeah, and hopefully I'll have a nice little necklace to wear tomorrow. Look at that. So so I'll let you go, and hope you're enjoying your evening, and see you tomorrow. All my love.